Yo, what is going on YouTube? I am Germ here. The LEC mini offseason between spring and summer is now officially heating up. And I feel like people always kind of sell this mini offseason a little bit short because it's not, the whole big offseason. But like if you think back to last year, we got some kind of significant changes during, the time between spring and summer. We got Fnatic Adam, we got Bwipo to jungle for Fnatic, we got Self-Made to Vitality, we got Abadage to 100 Thieves. Like, there are still some big changes that can happen. And then this year, when you have so many big name players as free agents, when you had a super team in Fnatic that failed and a super team in Vitality that failed, and the back-to-back champions in the LEC just finished 7th, this mini offseason could be even crazier than what we usually get. So I'm still very, very excited for it. And today, we have a big new rumor coming out regarding Fnatic that we are going to be talking about. Obviously, this one is going to be spicy, so definitely drop a like if you guys do enjoy this video. I would appreciate that so much. And subscribe to stay up to date on all my latest content. We have tons more. I have a lot of ideas and a lot of things that I'm hearing right now that I'm going to be making videos about everything coming very, very soon. You guys don't want to miss out on the latest. We also have, LCS playoffs, MSI, all that good stuff. And consider checking out the Patreon. First link in the description below. I'm going to be recording all kinds of videos, but I only upload like once or twice a day on YouTube. So if I record 4 or 5 videos in a day, I'm going to throw them on Patreon where you guys can watch them all at once, or you can wait till they come out over time on YouTube. And obviously with the Patreon, you help support me, my content, and everything we have going on here a lot more. With that being said, let's get right into this. So what we are talking about today, I stumbled upon this from the Fnatic subreddit. Fnatic subreddit's not that big. It's got 19,000 members. But yeah, for some reason, it seems like the NA teams, do have like bigger subreddits and stuff. Like TSM subreddit is massive. People talking there all the time. Fnatic subreddit kind of flies under the radar a little bit. So just because something happens on the Fnatic subreddit doesn't necessarily mean everyone sees it. But I got recommended this. A clip from I Will Dominate on Daily LOL only has 460 views right now. So again, this is something that I don't think a lot of people have seen. Obviously, Dom's a big streamer. People have probably seen it from him. But he said, Dom on rumors of Razork leaving Fnatic. That would be pretty big news. So let's see what Dom has to say.
So there's a bunch of rumors right now in the community. We talked about them on the Best Damn League show, but there's a bunch of rumors in the community that there's going to be like massive jungle swaps in Europe. So pretty much what I've heard, I mean, I said this before, I can say this again. So pretty much what I've heard is that Razork is just out of Fnatic, which I think is like really fucked up if that's the case, because I think that he actually played better in playoffs and he just got perma-griefed by his laners.
So that's obviously a very, very big news. He's saying he's heard that Razork is going to be out of Fnatic. Now, this could mean a couple different things. One, this could be, Fnatic wanting to replace him because he didn't play well enough. And people were definitely very, very critical of Razork, especially early on in the regular season. Like Dom says, things seemed like they were getting a little bit better towards the end of the regular season. Things also seemed like they got better into the playoffs. But still, Razork in the summer last year was like an MVP candidate, and even in the playoffs, I don't think Razork was, playing at like an MVP level or anything like that. So maybe that's what Fnatic was hoping to get, because their last 2 junglers, they had Self-Made. He was really good, obviously, for Fnatic for a lot of time. And then they had Bwipo, who even role swapped, in his very, very first split as jungle, ended up being pretty damn good for Fnatic. And the split that Fnatic is coming off of, finishing 3rd place in the playoffs, is just simply not good enough, especially for a team of this caliber, a team spending this much money, a team with this high of expectations. So Fnatic could just be saying, hey, Razork, we're not really happy with their performance levels. We want to move on. Or they see him as the weak link or the weakness of their team or whatever, and they want to move on. There's also another option that maybe the Fnatic players don't like playing with him. Maybe, Humanoid doesn't feel like he has great synergy with him. Maybe Hylissang feels like he doesn't have great synergy with him. I don't know. Maybe, some of the players are like, we're just not really meshing well with Razork. And that's possible. That happens all the time. We saw something very, very similar with the G2 team last year where they had all these great players, but for whatever reason, they just didn't fit together. Reckless isn't getting kicked from G2 because Reckless sucks and he's awful and he's horrible. No, Reckless just wasn't a fit for G2, and that's why they ended up making all those changes. And even though on paper they ended up getting worse players, hey, G2's the LEC champions now, so that is also very, very possible. And then there's a third option, I guess, as well, that maybe Razork isn't happy at Fnatic. Maybe Razork is asking to leave, because there have been some of those rumors as well. I have heard people saying stuff, take this with a grain of salt. This is not confirmed or anything like that, but I have heard people saying that, Razork hasn't been super happy this split. I know I heard something about people saying how I think Fnatic doesn't have a team house. They all live in separate apartments and stuff, so the team doesn't maybe feel as close together. It doesn't feel, like they are friends, or they're not as well connected and all that stuff, and maybe Razork wants to be back in that like team house scenario. He wants to feel closer to his teammates. He wants to feel like a part of a team, like they're friends and all that stuff. We also just had tweets from Razork from the last couple of weeks where he's like, okay, that fucking sucks, sad, not that weird of a tweet. It's okay to be sad after like losing all that stuff. And then he says, I kind of felt like this, or I feel a bit like this. He also, once Fnatic eventually got knocked out, he says, sorry, I'm bad. Overall, it just seems like a lot of very, very kind of sad or depressing tweets, which again, is normal when you're losing. I'm not trying to read too much into that, but I'm just saying there is maybe some writing on the wall of like, Razork maybe took this split a little bit harder than some of the other guys. Maybe he wasn't in the best place in terms of a lot of this stuff happening, maybe because he was taking a lot of the blame, maybe because the community was pretty harsh on him, or maybe he's being harsh on himself, or maybe the environment's just not great. With Fnatic, there's always all these different questions. There's always, hey, is there drama going on? How are things behind the scenes? Are we getting the full stories? Are we getting the full scoops? You never know. So there is all those different options. But again, Dom saying it seems like Razork is out of Fnatic, and then he gives who some of the possible replacements could be, which is also very, very spicy.
But if Razork is out, there's a couple different options. So apparently there's like an option for Elyoya to join. And then they're also apparently looking at their jungler Maxi from Academy, because he's been doing really well in Fnatic Queso apparently. But that's, I don't know, these are all just rumors at this point. Like, nothing's obviously been confirmed. But like, I'd be very surprised. From everything I've heard, I'd be very surprised if Razork stays on Fnatic. I think he's just done.
So obviously what he throws in at the end there is very spicy. He says, from everything I'm hearing, I would be surprised if Razork stays on Fnatic. But he throws out Fnatic Elyoya in there. I mean, that would be crazy. And it sounds crazy because, Elyoya is like kind of the franchise player for Mad Lions. But when you start thinking into it, I think it starts to make a lot more sense. Obviously, Humanoid and Elyoya were very successful together last year as a mid-jungle duo. I wouldn't be surprised if Humanoid wants to play with Elyoya again, if Elyoya wants to play with Humanoid again. We know Mad Lions is a team that has no problem selling off players. They literally just sold off Humanoid, coming off a very, very good last year, to Fnatic. They're a team that it seems like likes getting their hands on money. And if they are able to, sell Elyoya to Fnatic, and Fnatic gives them a solid chunk of money, they can go out and maybe make some upgrades. They could maybe even get Razork from Fnatic. They could maybe use some money to buy Niski, to, maybe go after VTO or guys like this. With a little extra money, it's not like Mad Lions couldn't make some other moves. Also, obviously, Elyoya and Mad Lions just finished 7th, so maybe Elyoya isn't exactly super, super happy about Mad Lions right now in the first place, and maybe he wants to go to a team that has a chance to compete at Worlds. So I think it would make a lot of sense for both teams there. Of course, we know that Fnatic TQ had a very, very good season in the ERLs. I think they lost their first game at EU Masters, so maybe things aren't going as great, but I think they went like 17-1 in the regular season, or 18-0 in the regular season, something like that. So a lot of the Fnatic TQ players have been doing very, very good, so if they do call up their ERL jungler, I don't think that would be totally shocking or surprising either. Obviously, it seems like Elyoya would be your first choice there. I do believe Elyoya is signed until 2023, and I think Razork is actually signed until 2024. So it's not like any of these guys have expiring contracts. It's not like any of these guys are about to be free agents or anything like that. So there are kind of some long deals in play here. But again, at least according to Dom, the rumor is Razork is out at Fnatic. We don't necessarily know where he's headed next. We don't necessarily know who the new Fnatic jungler is going to be. Sounds like they have some very, very exciting options. But again, he says he would be surprised if Razork is back at Fnatic in the summer split. But that is pretty much every video today, guys. Definitely drop a like if you did enjoy it. I would appreciate that so much. Leave a comment down below. Let me know what you think about this rumor. You think it's a good idea for Fnatic to move on from Razork? Bad idea? Somewhere in between. I'd love to hear your guys' thoughts and opinions. Subscribe to stay up to date on all my latest content. Consider checking out the Patreon. First link in the description below. Hopefully catch you guys in the next one. But until then, peace.